I'm sorry, I was supposed to dress up for this video. I had this grand vision of being dressed up as Marie-Antoinette, and I was gonna have macarons and it was gonna be epic. Like most of my videos, I literally forgot and couldn't be asked. It's still valid. It's still valid what I'm saying. And to be honest, this doesn't even need to be gender specific. It's actions that I think anyone can take into their life. The first one I've put down for queen-like behaviour is don't wait for a king. If any of you have watched my journey, the whole point of my channel is that you're not just sitting around waiting for a man. You're not some like baby bird on the side of the road that just needs to be saved by a man. The whole point of my channel and what I try and teach is that your life doesn't start when you get a boyfriend. You should ideally have a life that's whole and complete before you meet your person. Be a queen on your own terms. And sadly, I think the word queen, sometimes I have to admit, the word queen is overdone online. And a lot of the times, men especially, will just use it as bait. They'll use it as misogynistic bait and they'll just attack videos that trigger them where women are saying be a queen. But what we're really saying is just stand up for your values, because it leads nicely into the second one. And the second rule that I've put is be prepared to rule alone. If we think of the great monarchs in history, we think of Elizabeth I, we think of someone ruling on her own for, is it 40 years? I'll have to Google and add it in post. They don't settle for the wrong man. In 2024, there is absolutely no reason for everyone to settle. You have to be realistic, and you have to think, if your dream since birth has been to be a wife and a mother, then you probably will have to settle. A lot of women do this. For a lot of women, they want to be a wife and a mum so much, and maybe for whatever reason they don't meet their partner, so they do settle. But if you're someone that doesn't have that burning ambition to be a mum, then what is the point in just marrying someone that you are not happy with? Just picking anyone just to be married? I've always had the philosophy that I am prepared to rule alone. I am prepared to just do what I'm doing. If it happens, it happens. In terms of motherhood, I would like children, but for me, there hasn't been a burning desire since childhood to be a mum. I was never really that child that played with dollies and always wanted a baby. For me, it was always, I'd want to have a baby because I'd met someone and that was maybe the next logical step. And it'd have to be for the right reasons. I mean, a lot of people, honestly, like if we're really honest, a lot of people have children because they want someone to look after them when they're old. Literally just having a child because you're scared of the unknown. You're scared of the unknown of being single and maybe no one looking after you, etc. Just because you have children doesn't mean that they're gonna stay with you. I mean, I'm probably planning to like fuck off to America at some point and leave my parents. Just because you have children doesn't mean you'll always have someone to be there and look after you. You have to have children for the right reasons. And I think, sadly, a lot of people, they have children as a safety option. So the third one is never get out the carriage. And what I mean about this is you have to think of yourself, you're in your carriage, you're doing your own thing. And if all these peasants want to comment, make attacks at you, never get out the carriage. Never lower yourself to that standard of when people are attacking your decisions. If you've made a decision to follow a path, do not get out of the carriage and lower yourself to that level of trying to, talk to the haters, etc. Because you're never going to switch how they feel. And they're never going to side with you anyway. So I've always had this notion of never get out of the carriage. And that's why you'll see if people are mean to me, I just delete and block them. I don't engage with them. I don't try and justify my own point of view. I literally just delete and move on. If you look at any of my videos, I never interact with people in the comments that are trolling me and just give them shit. I don't want people to think that I'm not a nice person, and I don't want people to think that I'm triggered by these comments. I literally delete them and move on. And a lot of the time I get shit comments. I get shit comments when people say hurtful things like, you're gonna end up alone for the rest of your life, you'll never find love, no one is ever gonna love you, you're gonna die alone, you're always gonna be alone. And I have to step out of that and think, these people just think that about themselves. That's why they're projecting onto me. And I have to not get out of the carriage. And you're always going to get haters. And the more subscribers I get, I'm going to get more hate. And I always think about it as, if you put your light out there, you'll attract the butterflies, you'll attract the moths, you'll literally attract everyone. So number 4 for queen-like behaviour is create your own trends. If you think of the queens and socialites in the past, they literally create their own trends. And that's what I set out to do with my channel, was to create my own niche, do my own thing, and just see how things went. I didn't follow what anyone else was doing. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my story times. I'm going to do some random vlogs. I'm going to do a bit of advice. I'm literally just going to do my own thing and not worry about tying so much into this algorithm. If I find people that resonate with my content, they will resonate with it. And I've had to just create my own niche on YouTube, which I think is different. And that's what I view as queen-like behaviour, is doing your own thing, not caring about what people think, being prepared to voice an opinion that isn't necessarily popular. And I always think if you're creating a slight bit of buzz, it's usually a good thing, because any type of revolution that's happened in the past, it usually comes from someone voicing their opinion that's slightly outside the box. And number 5, it's taken from Marie-Antoinette, but creating your own queendom. So if you're not really into history, basically Marie-Antoinette, she created her own little cottage estate called, and I'm sorry, this is with my Cockney accent. Basically, she was cottagecore before it was a thing. She wanted a place outside of Versailles. She had all these farm animals and all these ducks and chickens, and she created her own little paradise outside of Versailles. Sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to just create your own sanctuary outside of the world and almost compartmentalize your world, as in, I go to work and do this, but then outside I create my own little sanctuary. And that's what she did. I know it wasn't perfect, because there are obviously people in Paris that were starving, and yeah, the wokies won't like that. But also, I read something wild as well, was that she made this kind of idyllic world, and little things like when the eggs were given to her by her servants, the eggs would be cleaned. They wouldn't give her the eggs fresh out the chicken. The servants would go around cleaning the eggs, and they would perfume the animals. It was almost as if she wanted this completely idyllic sense of what it would be like to live in a cottage. It was just so wild, but she created her own little sanctuary outside of Versailles. And I think even if you have like a really small flat or an apartment, you can still take that queen behaviour on, of just creating your own sanctuary outside of the world and having your own safe little haven. And number 6 is to treat yourself like a queen. If you want to go out and buy that handbag, buy that handbag. Don't wait for a man to buy you anything. At the end of the day, you're a human. You can buy your own stuff, girl. You know, it's nice when people buy you something as a treat, but you don't want to get into the habit of waiting for a man to buy you stuff. You want to have your own power, and your own power to be able to say, yes, I would like that pair of shoes, that handbag, I'm going to buy it myself. I've said this before on my channel, that is the only power that we have. The only power we have as a female is financial freedom. And once you have that base covered, you can do anything, because once you get your finances sorted, once you're not relying on a man for anything or any money, then you can choose a man from a place of security. You're not waiting for a man to save you. You're not having to keep yourself small or toe the line because you're scared that if your man steps out, then you've got no power, because you're just reliant on your beauty. Sadly, a lot of men tie beauty and sexual attractiveness all lumped together. You want to build a career like I'm doing. I want to build a career where I can still be speaking at 50 years old. It's not about how I look. The career is sustainable. It's sustainable as I age, and when I get older, it's still going to be there. The wisdom's there. Maybe I should do a video about beauty. I don't know, I might do it at some point, we'll see. And the last one, which is number 7, which I have done a whole video on if you possibly want to check that out if you haven't seen it. But queens attract kings. And like most videos, it triggers people. It will trigger beta males. It also triggers women that don't feel that they're in their power. Sadly, that's sometimes what I do, is that my videos trigger women. And that is a good thing. If maybe you watch my video and you think, oh, that video has triggered me. Sometimes being triggered is actually a good thing. I think of me previously in a previous life where I have watched videos and they have really triggered me. And it's been a catalyst for me to change. So sometimes my videos do offend people, but hopefully it's in a positive way. I'm not saying that every single man on the planet will be attracted to a queen, because there isn't any one single man that will be attracted to any one woman. Have you ever, like, oh God, the Daily Mail app's pretty bad, but have you seen, when you click on a celebrity article and you'll see someone on the beach, one half of the comments will be like, oh my God, she's disgusting, she's ugly, she's average, from triggered men. And then the other half will be like, oh, her body's amazing, she looks fantastic. You're never gonna please all of men, but I think men that are healed and secure will be attracted by a queen, and they won't be intimidated by you, and they will love the fact that you're ambitious. And I think we need to be careful about gendering certain emotions. Sometimes what I see online is that women are supposed to be soft and nurturing. I don't know where it's come from. It seems to be recently that we've just gendered attributes, and we say that, oh, being ambitious is seen as masculine and it's wrong for women to be ambitious, when really you can't just gender an attribute like that. This is the one problem I have with like the spiritual community. I think the whole divine feminine, divine masculine, it is a bit overplayed. I think being a queen, it's almost like a mindset, and it's not something that I see as gendered. You have to accept as a queen that your light will trigger people.